The story begins in the hauntingly beautiful city of Venice in the year 1947. The mist rises gently from the canals, painting the water in shades of silver under the dim morning light. The camera drifts into the grand architecture of an old Venetian villa, and suddenly the peaceful silence is shattered by the cry of an eagle. The bird descends swiftly, perching among smaller animals. In a sudden violent act, it attacks its prey and devours it. The brutality of nature unfolds right in front of us, only for the scene to fade. It was not reality, but a dream. The dream of the legendary detective, Hercule Poirot. He awakens with a start, breathing heavily, shaken by the nightmare. For a moment, we see the weight of his thoughts, the sharp brilliance of his mind clouded by weariness. Poirot, once the unmatched genius who solved mysteries no one else could unravel, now lives in self-imposed retirement. He dresses carefully, his perfectionism still intact, and steps outside to start his day. Waiting outside is a long queue of desperate people, men, women, children, each pleading for his help. They believe only Hercule Poirot can solve the mysteries tormenting them. But Poirot sees none of them. He has retired, closed his doors to the world, and buried his genius in silence. The world of crime and riddles is behind him, or so he thinks. Among the crowd, a young boy pushes forward, eager to reach Poirot. But his loyal bodyguard, a police officer assigned to protect him, stops the boy. The boy lashes out in anger, slapping the officer, frustrated that access to Poirot is forbidden. This moment tells us the power Poirot still holds in the public imagination. Everyone seeks him, but he chooses no one. Later, as Poirot sits quietly for breakfast, his bodyguard enters the room with news. "Sir," he says, "a lady has come to meet you. She claims to be your old friend. And she told me to give you this apple." He places an apple on the table. Poirot's eyes sharpen instantly. He recognizes the symbol. This lady is none other than Ariadne Oliver, a famous writer and an old companion of Poirot. Time has passed since they last met, and now she returns, carrying with her not just friendship, but intrigue. Ariadne is a celebrated author of crime novels, but her fame is fading. She knows Poirot is retired, yet she hopes to pull him into one last mystery. She tells Poirot about the famous opera singer Rowena Drake, who has been living with unbearable grief. Her daughter, Alicia Drake, died recently under strange and tragic circumstances. The official explanation was illness. Yet whispers suggest something far darker. Alicia had broken off her engagement shortly before her death, and rumors spread that her spirit remains trapped in the very house she once lived in. Rowena has organized a grand Halloween party at her palatial Venetian home. Costumes, music, and revelry will fill the night, but this celebration holds a darker purpose. A séance is planned. A renowned medium, a priestess-like woman who claims the power to communicate with the dead, will attempt to contact Alicia's spirit. Ariadne, with a mischievous smile, urges Poirot to join her. "Come with me, Hercule," she insists. "You don't believe in ghosts, but let's test her. Let's expose her tricks together. It will be fun." At first, Poirot refuses. His retirement is firm. Yet Ariadne's persistence and Rowena's tragedy awaken a spark within him. Finally, Poirot agrees. Tonight, they will face the mysteries inside Rowena Drake's haunted home. The party begins. That evening, masked children roam the villa in playful chaos. Lanterns glow, casting long, eerie shadows across the ancient walls. Guests arrive in elaborate costumes, laughter echoing through the hall. But beneath the festivities lies a chilling story. The house, the guests are told, has a cursed past. Years ago, during a plague, children were brought here for safety. But when the doctors and nurses abandoned them, the children perished. Their restless souls, it is said, still haunt these walls. Despite the morbid tale, the party continues. Music plays, wine flows, and Rowena herself appears, elegant yet visibly broken. Meanwhile, Rowena's loyal servant speaks privately with Poirot and Ariadne. She reveals that Alicia's death was not just an accident. Alicia, delicate and troubled, believed herself tormented by spirits. She would speak of invisible hands beating her, strange voices calling her. One night, she fell, or was pushed, from the roof. Some say the ghosts of the dead children dragged her soul away. The arrival of Alicia's former fiancé complicates matters. He claims he never wanted to attend the party, yet received an invitation signed in Rowena's name. Rowena, cold and stern, insists she never sent it. Tension brews between them, exposing bitterness and blame. And then the séance begins. The séance. The medium arrives, masked and theatrical, a accompanied by her assistants. The room is dimly lit, shadows flicker across the walls. Guests gather in a circle, anticipation thick in the air. Rowena demands answers from beyond. She must know what truly happened to her daughter. The seance begins with silence. Then, the typewriter rattles on its own, words hammering into paper. The priestess claims Alicia's spirit is speaking through her. Her voice shifts, eerie and otherworldly. "I came of my own will," the words echo, chilling the room. But Poirot, sharp-eyed as ever, notices the trick. Hidden in the chimney is one of the medium's assistants, secretly controlling the typewriter with a device. The seance, it seems, is nothing more than an elaborate fraud. He exposes the deception, shocking the guests. Yet before the room can calm, chaos strikes. The medium convulses violently. Her chair shakes, her voice shrieks in terror. She screams that Alicia was murdered, that her spirit still lingers in the house. Suddenly, the lamp crashes, shadows leap across the room, and panic fills the air. Poirot, suspicious but unsettled, dons the medium's mask and coat, determined to see through the charade. But as he investigates alone, an unseen hand grips his throat. He gasps, struggling for air, his vision fading. For a moment, Poirot appears dead, until the doctor revives him. And then, the horror deepens. The medium's lifeless body is discovered, impaled on a statue below the balcony. The haunting has claimed its first victim. Poirot, shaken but resolute, locks the villa doors. His retirement is over. A murder has taken place, and Hercule Poirot is once again the detective. The house trembles with secrets, and tonight, they will all be revealed. The atmosphere inside Rowena Drake's Venetian palace has shifted. What began as a festive Halloween gathering now feels like a prison of shadows. The guests are locked in, the windows rattling with wind, the canals outside dark and silent. And in the center of it all stands Hercule Poirot, no longer a retired man hiding from mysteries, but once again the master detective, declaring with authority, "There has been a murder, and I will uncover the truth." The guests exchange uneasy glances. Fear begins to infect them like poison. Suspicions and shadows. Poirot starts by examining the medium's body with the doctor. Surprisingly, there are no marks of force on her neck or signs of strangulation. She did not die by someone's direct assault. It seems she fell. Yet the way her body struck the statue suggests she was pushed. But by whom? The doctor, pale and trembling, confesses his own weakness. He once served as a medic in the war, and the horrors broke his spirit. He suffers from depression, often lost in panic and trembling hands. His young son stays by his side constantly, guiding him, steadying him like a caretaker. Poirot notices this quietly. Meanwhile, Rowena speaks of Alicia, her lost daughter. She admits she used to hear Alicia's voice in the house after her death, whispers in the night that called her name. "I only want to know the truth," she pleads. But her eyes hold secrets she will not yet reveal. Poirot, still skeptical of the supernatural, nevertheless cannot deny the strangeness that surrounds him. Dripping water on dry walls, cold drafts in sealed rooms, and fleeting visions of a young girl, Alicia's ghost, appearing and vanishing like a phantom of guilt. The weight of guilt. Poirot digs deeper. Alicia's fiancé is questioned. He insists he loved her dearly, showing a photograph he still carries of her. But their relationship crumbled under pressure. Alicia grew unstable, claiming to see ghosts, breaking off their engagement. He resents Rowena, accusing her of interfering, of forcing the separation. Still, his grief seems genuine. As Poirot speaks with him, Ariadne, the writer, watches closely. Poirot points out something odd. The invitation the fiancé received bore the symbol of an apple. And Ariadne herself once presented Poirot with an apple as proof of her identity. A link begins to form in Poirot's mind. The doctor, meanwhile, breaks further. In despair, he admits he could not save Alicia when she fell sick. He saw her pain and visions of ghosts, but was powerless to help. "I saw death every day in the war," he says, and then again in her eyes. His voice trembles with anguish. Poirot moves carefully through the house. In the mirror, he suddenly sees Alicia's ghost behind him. Pale, broken, eyes filled with sorrow. He spins around, nothing. Only silence. The fear rattles even Poirot's iron logic. Later, exploring the basement, Poirot and the guests uncover a chilling sight. The decomposed bodies of the children who once died here during the plague. Their small skeletons, fragile and crumbling, lie forgotten. The stench of rot fills the air. The doctor's son explains that these are the victims of disease. But Alicia's fiancé accuses, "Perhaps your father did this to them." The doctor erupts in fury, attacking him until his son calms him. The ghosts of the past are everywhere, both real and metaphorical. The truth of honey. Poirot continues to piece together fragments. In Alicia's room, he notices flowers, special blossoms from which bees once gathered honey. Rowena had always given this honey to Alicia, claiming it was for her health. Poirot recalls the strange visions he himself suffered after Rowena served him tea with honey. Hallucinations. Ghosts that weren't there. It dawns on Poirot, the honey is poisoned. Not to kill instantly, but to cause delirium, paranoia, hallucinations of things that do not exist. Alicia, consuming this honey daily, slowly lost her grip on reality. She saw ghosts because Rowena made her see them. But why would a mother torment her own daughter? Poirot suspects Rowena's possessiveness. Alicia wanted to marry and leave. Rowena, unable to bear losing her, sought to weaken her mind and body, ensuring she would never escape. But the plan went too far. One night, when Alicia was already weak, the servant fed her honey during her suffering. The overdose killed her. The blackmail. Poirot gathers the guests. He declares, "There are no ghosts here. Only lies, secrets, and murder." Gasps ripple through the room, that he reveals that after Alicia's death, someone discovered the truth of the poisoned honey and began blackmailing Rowena. Rowena paid heavily, draining her fortune, leaving her nearly bankrupt. Tonight's seance was not just grief, it was a trap. Rowena wanted to expose and silence her blackmailer once and for all. At first, Poirot suspects Ariadne, his own friend. She admits she wanted to lure Poirot here, to prove him wrong about the supernatural, and use it to revive her failing career. But she denies any role in murder. Her guilt is selfishness, not blood. The true blackmailer, Poirot later reveals, is the doctor's son. Clever and calculating despite his youth, he had secretly examined Alicia's body. From medical texts, he discovered traces of poisoned honey. With his father too weak to act, the boy used the knowledge to blackmail Rowena for money. He admits it quietly to Poirot, "We needed it. Father was broken. I thought I could save us." Poirot, stern but merciful, promises not to expose him publicly. "You will use this money to care for the priest's orphaned assistants. That is your atonement." The final revelation. But still one question remains. Who killed the medium and the doctor? Poirot's voice cuts through the silence. It was Rowena. Rowena's face hardens, fury boiling in her eyes. Poirot lays out the truth. Rowena poisoned Alicia with honey, making her hallucinate ghosts. On the night of her death, Alicia's suffering worsened. The servant, trying to help, gave her more honey. The overdose killed her. Rowena, desperate to cover her guilt, inflicted wounds on Alicia's body and threw her from the roof, claiming ghosts had driven her. Later, she was blackmailed for her crime. She believed the doctor and the medium were working together against her. So she disguised herself, attacked Poirot by mistake thinking he was the medium, then killed the real medium by pushing her onto the statue. As for the doctor, Rowena forced him to take his own life. She called him, threatened to kill his son unless he stabbed himself. Broken by war and guilt, the doctor obeyed. Gasps of horror echo through the hall. Rowena trembles, shouting, "I did it for Alicia. She was mine, mine alone. No one could take her from me." She flees upstairs, madness in her eyes. Poirot chases her. And then something impossible happens. The real ghost. In the upper hall, Rowena stops. The air grows cold. Behind her, Alicia's ghost appears, not a hallucination but real. Her pale hands grip her mother's arms. Rowena screams in terror as the invisible force drags her toward the balcony. She struggles, but there is no escape. With a final chilling cry, she is pulled over the edge and falls to her death. Poirot watches, stunned. For the first time, the rational detective confronts the undeniable truth. Ghosts do exist. Rowena's guilt was avenged not by justice, but by the spirit of her own daughter. Aftermath. The next morning, the villa is quiet. The bodies of the dead are carried away. The medium, the doctor, and Rowena. Only grief remains. The doctor's son stands alone, his eyes hollow. The servant promises to care for him, to be the family he has lost. Poirot approaches the boy, acknowledging his guilt and blackmail, but also his chance at redemption. "Do better with your life," Poirot tells him firmly. Ariadne apologizes to Poirot for using him. "I thought only of my fame. I forgot you were more than a story." Poirot forgives her, though the wound of betrayal lingers. And finally, Poirot himself reflects. He had wanted retirement, solitude, peace. But this case taught him something profound. The world will never run out of mysteries. some born of human greed and cruelty, others, perhaps, born of forces beyond reason. When he returns home, the line of desperate people still waits outside, seeking his help. Poirot pauses. For the first time in years, he feels not the burden of their pleas, but the spark of desire, the hunger to solve mysteries once more. The detective has returned, and Hercule Poirot is ready for the cases ahead. The haunting in Venice is over, but the echoes of its ghosts will never fade.